Check one, two.
Can you hear me, David Lee Scales?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear lots of family noises in the background?
No, but I hear echoey, like a big room.
Let me see
It doesn't
here.
matter. I mean, it's fine.
Okay, we'll just stay right here.
Are you guys in an Airbnb?
Yeah, an Airbnb in Nashville, Tennessee.
This is ultimately we've pulled a lot of shows together through varying circumstance. Today was the most impressive pull together we have ever done.
I've got to say, and credit goes to you. Credit goes to you. Like it was for me to like edge around schedule. That's what we do professionally, I feel, David Lee Scales, but not always is one of us getting major dental work done.
I got out of the endodontist chair 51 minutes ago, literally. I was in that chair 52 minutes ago, just got a root canal.
I mean, this Iron Man streak, have you ever had a root canal before?
No, first one.
How did it feel or how was it?
Way better than I thought. And I was in so much pain this week that I was like, I don't care how much pain a root canal is. I don't care how much it costs. Like, I will do anything to be done with the pain that I was experiencing.
What was describe the pain?
Okay, I'm going to give you more background than that, even not that anybody probably cares or
I
wants
think,
to
I mean,
hear
I
the
feel,
details.
no, I feel that there's a lot of our listeners are out there and because I don't know like I have tooth pain, but I don't know what is weird tooth pain, right?
Right. Yeah. So the weird thing is, I didn't have tooth pain up until last weekend. And I was at the dentist a month ago and they x rayed me and everything. I haven't had a cavity in a decade. Like, I've had no real problems, except about 2 months ago, I started having pain in my jaw at when I woke up in the
Uh,
morning. And
okay.
I thought that it was grinding my teeth at night. I talked to dentists, I talked to doctors. They thought it was grinding my teeth at night. So I got a night guard, and that really did help the problem, or so I thought. And then turns out now in hindsight, I don't think I was even the only reason I was grinding my teeth was because there was a deeper problem and I was at night, you know, chewing
Addressing
on it.
the
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
So the pain got really bad over the weekend. It like really came literally like zero, other than the little bit of nighttime issue, like no specific focused tooth pain like you would feel with a cavity. There was no sensitivity to cold or anything like that. So then over the weekend, it was that extreme pain when I woke up in the morning, but all day long. And so Monday, I tried to get a dentist appointment. They couldn't get me until Wednesday. So I went to urgent care Monday night because it was that bad.
Oh, that's serious.
Yeah.
For a man
And
to take himself to urgent care, I feel it's like really you're not able to sleep.
so I don't know, like, if I handle pain really well. And so I never really experience pain until it's extreme, or if I'm such a baby, because this is you know what I mean? Like this, I had a little bit of pain. And so I'm in urgent care immediately, but I don't generally have injuries. I don't generally feel pain. So, anyways, urgent care didn't really do anything for me. They thought it was TMJ just based on the information I gave them. So I kind of led them down the wrong path. Then Wednesday, I went to the dentist, and the dentist had a hard time diagnosing as well because, again, there isn't a specific area for the pain. It's kind of a
Just
general
jaw.
deep achiness. Yeah. But he ultimately kind of considered that it might be like a dead nerve underneath a crown that was put on 15 years ago, you know? And so he sent me to the endo, and I showed up at the endo today, and he immediately identified that that's basically what the problem was, and has to go into the canals of the teeth and basically clean out bacteria that somehow got in there.
And so you are though now, you must be, I mean, of course, your mouth is still numb and there will be pain coming out of this, but overall, you got to be flying high, knowing that problems stinking solved.
So you would think you come out of a root canal and you're going to be down for the day. I feel higher than I've ever felt. Like, this is the best I've felt in a very long time because I felt I was in pain for a week straight, you know?
Yeah.
And they just do like lidocaine, like they numb the area of the procedure, but they didn't give me anything else. And so I'm lucid. I'm lucid enough to have a conversation, even though I might be slurring.
I feel the big dental has really, I mean, we talked about I hadn't been to the dentist in over a decade and then went to the dentist. And I was shocked. I think we probably talked about it at advancements, particularly in I remember just the big old needle going in and bang, bang, bang. And that hurt so bad. Like before you got numb, that needle just ached. Uh,
Yeah.
when I went last, they like squirt all that lidocaine in there to begin with. And so you barely even feel the prick.
They had three different numbing agents. And so
Yeah,
by the time, yeah, none of them actually hurt. And the experience, to answer your original question, was so pleasant. I was in the chair for an hour and a half. I honestly almost nodded. I almost fell asleep.
just hanging out, just
I
having
they
fun.
The other thing is you don't have to keep your mouth open. They have what he called a mouth pillow. So he propped that in the right side of my jaw. It keeps my mouth open. He had some sort of what looked like it's like a latex, almost like a glove, but it stretches over the rest of your mouth. So it prevents things from falling into your mouth other than what they're working on, it like that stretches over your mouth. So I just like, and he had sunglasses on me. I was like literally chilling and I was nodding off. A couple times I like kind of nodded back awake, but that's how simple the experience was.
Have you taken Austin to his baby's first dentist yet?
Yeah, he goes to a pediatric dentist that is specifically geared for kids and he loves it.
Do they have the TV on the ceiling and the whole nine?
And gets
Yeah.
toys afterwards and
I
everything.
mean, the dentists really figured it out. Dentists realize that people are scared. They have bad experiences when we're kids. So we are going to make the dentist the funnest place on earth that kids are going to want to go to forever. And then also, hey, for those who have not been to the dentist in a while, come on back. Life is
Totally.
easy.
They have rebranded and I'm all in.
I am here for it as well, even though I have like still tooth sensitivity. And I'm like, well, what? I went to the dentist and he said there was nothing. So what am I going to do?
Well, like your strategy of old of just it'll fix itself,
Yep.
or what I did with this one, apparently waited too long, but it's fine in the end. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like this, it was probably, I mean, I didn't feel any pain earlier, but the problem's probably been there for a while. And I ended up at this extreme pain point. They can fix it in 2 hours and I'm out
No
of the
problem.
chair and podcasting again.
No problem. Why
So
and
could
why not? I mean, if you can, and let's just be honest, if you can put something off and put it off and put it off and put it off and eventually get to it for no loss either way,
yeah.
that's always the better way to do things. Let's just like the people who say, just get it done and then you're not worried about it. No, the only reason getting done something done on time is decent is if there's like a lot of interest being accrued or
Right.
there's damage being done. Like not taking care of it is making the thing worse. If the thing is in stasis, it's not getting worse. And you can push off that thing forever or for a long time, you bought yourself like years.
My only mistake in this whole process was on Monday, I should have demanded the dentist appointment and then, got the referral to the endo immediately rather than Monday one appointment, Wednesday another appointment, Friday the eventual appointment. This could have been solved on Monday afternoon.
I mean, it's hindsight 2020. It's all easy to look back and think, but when you have your mindset that you're dealing with something, and then obviously it's not that thing, and you like, turn
Yeah.
around and think, okay, and then it's so clear that that's what it was, but
Yeah.
it's not clear until it is clear. So you can't fault yourself for that one, David Lee.
Well, thank you. Thanks for talking me through it. I'm thrilled to finally be here after postponements a couple of times today.
But
We have Mother's Day upon us, but I guess it should be stated first you're in Nashville.
I'm in Nashville, but so I'm in Nashville, Tennessee for daughter's graduation from Vanderbilt University. When was the last time you were to a university graduation?
Maybe the one I graduated from.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of those things that, we're too young-ish. I mean, I'm not anymore, but to have children graduating from college. But
Yeah.
this is coming. And so this is the first, like going to the dentist, waiting a decade to go to the dentist. This is the first college graduation I've been to in 15 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh, Unlike the dentist, I mean, big dental should go to big university and give them some tips on how these things can and should work. I thought it's getting off to a good start. So daughter was a full ride soccer scholarship whole time. Like, so, yesterday they had their, student athletes commencement. So they separate the commencement speech kind of part, from the graduation ceremony. Problem is, uh, big mess here. So what at the sport one, they have like the, whatever, athletic director and the blah blah and the blah blah speak. And then all the student athletes walk across stage. They're all announced one by one, walk across stage. At the main Vanderbilt one, we also have the chancellor giving a long talk, various other things going on. And then it was probably like 1,600 students, each getting their name called and walking. It was a 4-hour ceremony. Imagine, and there was, everybody's family, kids running around. A 4 hour. I haven't been to a 4-hour ceremony in a while.
That is insane.
Four
I mean,
hours.
you could have brought your phone and just watched um, Flowers of the Killer Moon for most of that, and you'd still have an hour to burn.
I could have gotten half done with Flowers of the Killer Moon, and then Flowers. Have you watched it yet?
Yeah,
I think I'm legit. We had to. Did we talked about it?
I don't think
So
so.
Flowers of the Killer Moon, for those who don't know, obviously the Scorsese movie. I know everybody knows that, but like you miss something in the theater and you think, oh, it's fine. I'll stream it. I'll stream. And then stuff comes out, and the week it comes out, it's 19.99, right? You can either like rent or buy for 19.99.
Right, right, right.
And then after a week, it goes down to, usually directly to the 4.99. Like it bottoms out, fine. So wife has been wanting to watch Flowers of the Killer Moon forever. Every like week, I check back in 19.99, and I had dug my heels in so badly. I was like, I am not paying 19.99 for this movie. I'm just not. Like, I'm sure it's a masterpiece, and I love that Scorsese made it, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not paying 19.99 for this movie. Like it sets a bad precedent, because then they'll know they
Exactly.
wait me out. I cannot let them know that we will rent this when it's 5.99. Finally, they won. Scorsese won. I buckled, spent the $20. And that movie, love Scorsese, let's be honest, but let's also be honest, he's an old man and had nobody in the room saying, hey, old man, you can legit shave 2 hours off this thing and lose nothing. In fact, it'll be a better film. Let's maybe you went so old man loopy that you get to the end and then like have old time radio hour who has to tell the rest of the story. Like,
I
I mean,
loved, I loved that ending.
it would have been a good-ish ending if there was ever any old-time radio hour like woven throughout. It just drops in at the end. All of a
Right.
sudden, it's not like they have an old-time, narrator, like old-timey radio narrator through the thing. It's just
Yeah.
all of a sudden like, oh man. I mean, somebody legit came into the room and said, hey, Scorsese, just FYI, this movie is running at 4 hours, and we still have another like 2 hours worth of script. And so then he was like, oh, damn, bring in the old-time radio guy. Yeah.
Man, we are divided. I'm going barrel on Flowers of the Killer Moon. You are going nah hard.
I am going a pretty hard knot. Like I really liked some scenes in it, but my goodness, that story, again, a powerful story, a important historical story, a well acted story, except for Gladstone, who just like stone faced the whole thing. But the literally that movie did not need to be that long. There's
Okay.
not one part of that movie that needed to be that long.
It took me, I think it took us 3 nights to actually finish it, but I enjoyed in 1 hour increments. I enjoyed every hour increment of it.
So you
Um,
purchased it too for 19.99.
no, dude, we just have every streaming service on the planet. I think it's on no, it was on Apple.
It was streaming Apple.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I could have
yeah,
saved 19.99, but then I would have spent 15.99 that I would have turned into $100,000. I would have never actually canceled Apple.
exactly. Okay, well, we've got surf news. We've got lots of listener feedback, and we're going to have an abbreviated show because it's a late evening show and we got to get back to the families. But
Right.
first off, right out of the gates, quote, not at all out of the gates, actually, 20 minutes in, quote, timid surf champ Felipe Toledo under major pressure after Tyler Wright, Molly Picklum open up about their beautiful, raw, but terrifying chopu. Um, Tell me what is happening here.
Well, here's the thing, right? We have both Tyler Wright, who like her or love her. Tyler Wright rubs some people the wrong way, right? I don't think she's an altogether fan favorite. I like Tyler Wright, and you know why I like her now virtually 100%? drinkag1.com/surf. She's on the team, meaning Tyler Wright and I are now made of the same stuff. The same stuff we've got in us. maybe a different side of the same coin, but the same coin nonetheless. In any case, Tyler Wright gave a nice interview to, I think it was The Guardian, where she talked about, yeah, I mean, it's Chopu Olympics. It's going to be scary. That is a terrifying wave. Go to Molly Picklum. And where did we not last see Molly Picklum, but saw her at the beginning of the year? Just taming pipe beasts, right? I mean, Molly Picklum, the come up on that one. And to say nothing of her snapper barrel, considered by many the greatest backhand tube ride of a female and possibly a male ever. Is that Molly
I'll
Picklum?
edit that. I'll edit that for you. That was Aaron Brooks.
Sorry, same potato potato. Let's be honest about this. They're interchangeable at this point until one breaks from the pack. Aaron
Molly
Brooks,
Picklum is, though, a pipe master, and then of course finaled this year against Katie.
there we go. In any case, so she also said that's a scary wave, right? So you have these people who actually surf it. Tyler Wright, again, like her or love her, uh, surfs Chopu. She doesn't surf it great. She doesn't like get super barreled, but she's out there giving it a crack. Picklum, who I have no doubt will send it. They're Pip Toledo. Time is running out. I just realized how close the Olympics are now. We are mid-ish May. These Olympics are happening the end of July. That gives him basically 2 weeks of May, June, July. So he has basically 2 months and 2 weeks. We set this scenario up 4-ish months ago, I feel, when he announced his retirement of this is what you do, right? You, or not his retirement, but is taking the season off. Yeah, you take the season off, you go plant at heavy left-handed reefs. Of course, it will not be Chopu that whole time, but then you get to Chopu early and train, train, train. And so you don't make an absolute mockery of yourself. But I just realized he has not been there. If Toledo had been training, doing anything other than continuing to be scared, we would have seen like little bits come out.
Absolutely,
Nothing.
yeah.
There's nothing. So
So, so
yeah,
this is Article One in basically a series documenting where is Felipe Toledo in the run up to the Olympics.
exactly. Because what are
Got it.
you took the year off ostensibly, and you stated, Felipe Toledo, that you took the year off in part to train for the Olympics. Well, where are you training? And unless I will still give you a tiny bit of the benefit of the doubt, prove me wrong. Like, be somewhere heavy. Be like at some left slab that's terrifying, like giving it your all, where there people have to put their cell phones in a bag before they show up to this slab for the daily training, like they do at comedy shows, just so nothing leaks out, just because you want to blow everyone away by sending it so hard at Chopu.
Well, okay, I'll make an argument for Felipe, or maybe just an assessment on what's actually happening. His talent is such that he doesn't actually need to learn how to surf Chopu. It's fear that he needs to get over.
Precisely.
So if he was training, you're right, he would be if he was training on a wave, he would be documenting it and publishing it. What if he's just in the therapist office? That is
Great.
something that he would definitely not publish.
The thing is, though, a therapist can give you a lot of tools to live by, brought to you by Vair. But a therapist can't, like, it's one thing to talk through it. So I guess if he was somewhere like in a really scary haunted house, right? And people were like jumping around corners, boo. And he had to walk all the way through. Like, he had to make it from the front door to the back door. And it was all of the best Knott's Scary Farm performers there. You've been to Knott's Scary Farm, yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I'm sure we've talked about it. I mean, of course we've talked about Knott's Scary Farm, but the I've only been once, but there was a real distinction between the people who make being a Knott's Scary Farm scary person their life versus the ones who are doing it for the paycheck, right?
Right.
Like the ones who come sliding up out of nowhere and they are like decked out they have practiced that move so much and
Yeah.
sliding like so close to you, and they have all you'd have to hire those ones. You'd have to hire like the year-round professional Knott's Scary Farm performers in order to scare you enough that you could probably pitch off the cliff at Chopes. Even then, you got to be at a wave doing this. You got to be, because that's his fear. His fear, as Papa Toledo let accidentally leak, his fear is hitting the reef. So he's got to be somewhere where he's staring at shallow reef, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. unless he is in a haunted house, if there's any year-round haunted houses and any employees that are working there who have seen Felipe Toledo, please provide that imagery for us because we would love to get the inside track on this. But we'll be following Beach Grit along the way to find out every turn if he does. I mean, the only thing that I've seen Felipe posting about is the new film that I think there's a film called Zipper, a
Yeah,
Monster Energy drink that's out that he's in. And so I've seen promotion for that, but that's it.
that's
Otherwise,
it.
he's been silent.
I mean, that's the thing. And now, I mean, the timer, I'm going to say, has officially started. I think
Okay.
the Tyler Wright interview was the official beginning of the Where is Philippe Toledo timer.
Welcome to the team, Tyler Wright, who's on drinkag1.com/surf. And by the way, I didn't mention it last week, but we were talking about Michael Dunphy's leash pull,
Yes.
that epic Instagram clip. I noticed he posts Instagram photo or Instagram stories drinking AG1.
I mean, if you got Michael Dunphy on the team, I don't know if you, dear listener, are still on the fence about drinkag1.com/surf. That leash pull should pull you right off that cliff into
Exactly.
into health and wellness and like quick reflexes.
He never would have been able to pull that off if he wasn't on drinkag1.com/surf.
If you go back and look at that clip, the weight difference alone between Michael Dunphy and that longboarder, I mean, without the drinkag1.com/surf, that guy wouldn't have even felt his leash. Like Michael Dunphy would have gone along for the ride. He would just went whoop off his board and
Exactly.
skimming along on his belly.
And if you were on the fence about it before today, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. So there's no reason not to try it. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, somebody called in and he had a dream about a surfboard and then was scrolling used board
Yes.
site and saw the exact surfboard that he had in his dream. And he wanted to know whether he should buy it, well, like it
And
was a
we
premonition or whether it was a final destination scenario.
we said bye, correct?
We said buy and we got an
Yeah.
update. Says, hi, DLS and Chaz. Just wanted to let you guys know that I took your advice and bought a board that I saw in a dream. I was convinced when I saw it that when I saw it in person, it would actually look nothing like it had in my dream. But I swear to you, it's the exact board that I dreamed about. I'm a little nervous about the final destination scenario since it is a Christensen and it has that skull logo on the bottom. I could only see the deck in the dream. It's also a shape that definitely needs a decent wave to work properly. So it could be a trap, like Chaz said, but I'm still going to take my chances when the conditions or a trip line up. I live in a small apartment, so the board is in a storage unit. I haven't even waxed it up yet, but it has some paint transfer and scuffs already just from resting against other stuff. And I thought that rather than Final Destination, it might be a Dorian Gray situation, one where the board ages for me. But anyway, I think this dovetails nicely into your and Chaz's conversation about Kelly and Shane's hair. I fervently agree that they should both grow their own Dr. Phil sidewall look. Their refusal to accept their aging and their fanatical commitment to fitness and wellness just adds to the pile of evidence that professional performance surfing is a dark and evil practice. Think about it. Every cautionary tale is about a person seeking eternal youth or immortality. Voldemort in Harry Potter, Palpatine in Star Wars, Walter Donovan in Indiana Jones, and the aforementioned Dorian Gray. Ponce de Leon's futile and violent search for the Fountain of Youth. The list goes on and on. The curse of the vampire is eternal life. He must watch everyone he knows and loves age and leave him lonely and brokenhearted. Despite all of these moral lessons, from our most cherished stories, society is obsessed with longevity and anti-aging right now. Hair transplants, hormone replacement therapy, whatever pills this crazy millionaire guy is trying to sell, plastic surgery injections, adult men spending thousands of dollars on Pokemon cards for YouTube views. It seems like every public figure is trying to look and feel 15 years old forever. All of our cultural lore has taught us this is not a good thing to do. It is greedy and villainous, and it will lead to nothing but tragedy and suffering. On the flip side, it is the duty of our hero to sacrifice their youth and even their own life to vanquish evil. And so I ask you, DLS and Chaz, how do we actually get Shane and Kelly and other Gen Z jocks with cue ball heads to own their hairlines and thus their age, restoring dignity to the sport of kings.
I'll tell you. I will tell you exactly and specifically. There's one way. There's one man. Coming to an Airbnb. TVs are sometimes spotty. Sometimes you get the ones that only have like they don't even have Netflix, right? They have like weird off-brand streaming
Yeah.
things, and you can't even get on your Netflix.
Tubo or Fubi or whatever there.
Exactly. Or or you have the free TV, or you have the ones that don't have any streaming capability, and it is a whatever channel is on. So this house in Nashville is one of the latter. And what was playing when I walked in the other day, but old episodes of Fear Factor, starring, of course, Joe Rogan. A Joe Rogan pre Satan taking him on the journey of eternal life. So that's where we need to start. If Joe Rogan said enough, Joe Rogan is such an HGH freak now. Like, again, like if you're a huge fan of Joe Rogan, if you're indifferent, whatever, like look at Joe Rogan today. His ballooned head. I mean, he's like Barry Bonds, right? You can very clearly see he is consuming anything he can, that's deemed healthy to, or healthy enough or whatever to stay young and fit. And I feel that your Shanes and your Kellys are a byproduct of your Seth Rogen taking them down this path, right?
Joe
So
Rogan.
yeah, Joe, did I say Seth Rogen? Seth Rogen is definitely. I mean, maybe Seth Rogen is our hero. Let let
Totally
us
very.
Seth.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Joe Rogan's a freak, and I think Kelly and Shane seems like he's buddies with Joe a little bit. Kelly
Yeah.
just like a straight sycophant with Rogan, like just is in love with Joe Rogan. So it's got to start with Joe Rogan, but I don't know that Joe might be too evil. Seth, I guess, is who we have to look to.
I mean, look, I mean, if you're going to stay in the celebrity, I guess Seth, I was thinking older guys who have aged gracefully. I was thinking Denzel.
Yep.
Like, has Denzel had any work done?
I don't think so. I
It
did
doesn't
not think
look
so.
like it, right? He
No,
just looks
no. Definitely.
gracefully
Yeah.
aged.
Yeah.
Um, Paul Newman aged really gracefully, and in an old age, you look at the guy and you just go, "Oh my God, that is a handsome man." You could never achieve that level of rugged good looks through any manufactured effort. You know what I mean?
You can never achieve dignity. That's the thing. It is super undignified to try to stay young forever. So you look at Joe, you look at Kelly. Kelly has no dignity, right? I mean, even if you're a Kelly fan, you look at Kelly, there is zero dignity in the man. He's rips at surfing at 50. That's cool. Like he has a lot of skills and a lot of attributes. Dignity isn't nobody on earth has ever looked at Kelly Slater and said, there's a dignified man.
Well, I was blown away by this listener's kind of discovery that chasing youth, eternal youth, is actually a villain's uh endeavor. You know what I mean? Like I never saw it that way. I just thought there's a vanity. I think that if I see vanity in a certain way, there is yeah, it's undignified and it's also kind of a waste of time. But I
Sure.
never thought it as villainous. But I think he's absolutely right, is that all the moral lessons we've taught us is that just going with the flow, living in the moment, embracing what naturally develops, it's probably the key to happiness and success, is what it is.
If you can put things off, put them off. Put them off, put them off. That includes like dying, basically. Keep putting off dying until you're dead.
I like it. We are on to something here.
You really are.
And that is also why pointy thruster shortboarding is the thing of the devil, as he put.
I really truly, this deer collar, I mean, it started like his conundrum, or not even a conundrum, but just what, like seeing a board in a dream, and then, the path that, it's either one or the other. I either buy it and then, go down this path, or I don't. The buy it leads to two others, right? Is this, again, like we talked about, a scenario that's going to get me killed, or is it a scenario that I'm going to achieve my greatness? But who would have even thought, had he not purchased and emailed back in, that Dorian Gray. I did not think we would be talking Oscar Wilde today
No,
here on the podcast.
no. So yeah, fascinating stuff. Thank you, listeners. How about another pro in the wild?
I just had somebody walk by me the other day, and that's all they yelled was I was walking down the stairs to surf. They were walking up, and when they were well past, they just said, "Pros in the wild."
That's
That was
hilarious.
it.
Um, okay, we speaking of people chasing eternal youth, Laird Hamilton makes a return.
Boom.
Although I don't know if how much he's
I
chasing.
think I
He,
think Laird
he
is raging sort of like I don't see Laird as a HGH freak. I mean, I'm sure he does all that stuff too, but somehow Laird has some dignity to him. So
he's chasing fitness and health and wellness, but it doesn't seem to be youth isn't his goal.
yeah, it's just like being fit at any age,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
Yeah,
not
it
that
does.
dignified, but more dignified than Kelly.
It somehow feels different to me. I'm not sure why either. But okay, pros and wild. David and Chaz love the work. I used to surf an outside reef on my longboard in Southern California. Hardly anyone else surfed it. The waves weren't that great, but it was away from the crowds. One day, Laird Hamilton started coming out and seemed in tune with my schedule. He was also in tune with every set wave that I wanted. I would usually say hi to Laird, trying to be friendly, but he would just plain ignore me, wouldn't even look at me. He'd just, quote, take every wave. He was on a stand-up foil and was a wave catching machine. If you wanted to know when a set was coming, just wait till Laird was 20 seconds from the takeoff point. His ability to be in tune with the best set waves was about the only admirable thing about him. Even when it was my turn, he would always come straight at me as I paddled for the wave. Intimidated, I'd always, or, and me intimidated, I would always back down. After a week of this, I thought, F you, Laird, I'm going. A set wave came through. He had just returned from a long ride and sure enough got into it early and was headed straight at me. I put on my blinkers or blinders, I guess, and just caught the wave. He got scary close, but at the last second turned away from me and pulled off the wave and pumped his brick frame out the back and caught the next wave. As I was paddling back out, he said, "Hey, that was my wave." I stopped paddling, looked him in the eye, and said with calm confidence, "No, it was my turn." He got it. He gave me a cheeky smile and paddled off. As I joined him in the takeoff zone and sat up on my board, he said in a friendly voice, "Is that a New Zealand accent? Where are you from?" From that moment on, we chatted and swapped waves. The lesson: don't let alpha surfers intimidate you. Stand up for yourself, surf with etiquette, guidelines, and you will gain respect.
Wonderful lesson. And as I was listening along for the journey there, that's what I was I mean, I was wondering where it was going to go, but when it reached that point, I thought fully Laird was wanting this guy to be a better version of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Laird was pushing him until he finally had enough and manned up and then said, "No, it's my turn now." Right. And then that's all Laird wanted to just take him on the righteous path. But like Felipe Toledo, you can't drag somebody in, right? Laird had to just open the door and say, "Here's the righteous path. You've got to basically burn me in order to regain your manhood. And I'll do you a big favor. And this lesson will carry forth for you."
That's exactly what I thought as I was reading it too, was I'm kind of on Laird's side. Like you, and because I do this on a much smaller level too, is just I'm going until you kind of show that you're adequate surfer enough to know that this is actually your position and your wave and you're going. I'm waiting for you to basically uh either back off or tell me to back off. And so
Yeah.
that's exactly what Laird was doing. And you're right. This is a more dignified version of Laird. This gives me more respect for Laird, in fact, because he is at least trying to create order in the lineup. He's going to push it farther than I would push it to its limits, but it's also because he's Laird and he can kind of get away with it more than most people.
How many days of burn, let's say, or let's say this is spread out. Or let's say you and Laird are surfing a Misto outer reef, just you and Laird, let's say twice a month. How many months would go on before you said, "Enough, I'm paddling"?
I'd probably in the second session, I think I would go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, twice a month is not frequent enough to assume that he's going to remember that he's done this to me 5 times.
I mean, that's what
But
I'm saying.
but this listener said they'd gotten on the same schedule, and he said after a week. So presumably they're surfing every day together at, schedule, meaning it's at 10:30. They both have time in their day. And so they've done that for a number of days together. And after a week, he finally decided to do it. But I feel like no matter what, on the second session, I would let one session kind of go, especially because it's Laird. It's like, oh, here's a celebrity surf guy. I'm going to kind of get out of the way and just enjoy. But if we're out there a second or a third day in a
And he's
row,
still getting it.
then I'd be like, no, now he's just being a dick because he's seen me out here a couple days in a row and he knows I was going for those waves. So I'd have to say something.
I gotta say, like if he was riding a surfboard, I would have been probably let like 2 or 3 sessions go. I mean, because it's not going to on a surfboard anyway. You can't be that quick out to the lineup, and you can't catch waves that deep and whatnot. Like inevitably, you will be in a position that can't be really outflanked by somebody else on a surfboard. On a stand-up foil though, that
I
would have
know.
really irked me. I probably would have dropped in on him straight away at some point, like in the first session. I'm just not being able to take a stand-up foil as the thing.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
giving him, hey man, that's not cool. That your stupid board is dumb.
Yeah. So stand up foilers, it's more egregious when they're breaking the rules because they can break them so much earlier.
Yeah.
They can catch the wave so much earlier and all that sort of stuff. But what then reduces that or mitigates that factor is the fact that it's Laird Hamilton.
A funny thing would be if it was me, say, or you, knowing who Laird is, knowing all of Laird's stuff, da 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 da. If Laird was out there taking every wave, and then Laird, eventually whatever, the same scenario, and Laird said hey, that was my wave, and you said, fuck you, Laird, stand now, now, and you paddled in, what would Laird's response be? Laird cannot get in a fight, right? Like, there's no way he cannot have this as his thing. And so he would have to fully back out of that fight, I would imagine. And you could say, and then you paddle the next day and just keep pointing Laird in. I feel you would own it then. You could take every wave from then on then and say, Laird didn't want to fight.
The problem is he's riding a device that will slice you in half. So
Totally. I know.
ultimately, he's not going to fight you. So what are you going to do? Burn him on every wave? He's on a freaking foil, like he's going to burn you on every wave in retribution. And
The
there's
problem is
nothing
you
you
can
can
start
do.
shooting your board. I mean, I feel there's all kinds of, I feel Laird would be, he's no dummy. Laird would be very lawsuit averse at some point, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel you could menace Laird off the wave. All that it would take was that first challenge him to a fight.
He's
To
just
just
he has more to lose.
he has everything to lose. That's the problem. He has way more to lose, and so he would have to bow out of that scenario.
Well, our listener left a postscript and said, by far the most annoying thing about surfing with Laird, he would always bring his little toy dog and the dog would run up and down the beach and bark and yap the whole time he was surfing. Douchebag.
Yeah, that sucks. That Laird, boo on that. That's undignified. But I thought this was a like Misto outer reef. How can you hear the dog barking?
Um,
I guess sound
I don't,
carries.
did he say outer reef? I think you're right. He did. I know where he's talking about. He said outside reef. So it's not an outer reef, it's
Okay.
outside reef, but it's also in that area, coastal area along Malibu,
I
where
know what
there's a
he's
bunch
talking
of
about.
protected coves and
Yeah.
there's little waves that, break off rocks, but they're not big. There might be mushy, so they're foilable or longboardable. So the dog's on the beach. It's not way out there. It's just,
Ooh, Laird, do
yeah.
better.
Yeah. Well, I got a Kook and Kern submission, and this happens fairly regularly, I would say, both with Barrel and Gnaw and Kook and Kern, where somebody submits one that has already been submitted years and years and years ago. So we cannot expect for listeners to know the archive. So what I'm going to do here is read the listener's submission. We will, it's worth going over again for all the people who haven't heard it. But then afterwards, I'm going to give you the current list of Kook and Curran so that we're all on the same page.
Great. And way to go in and catalog.
I had a note on my phone where I did keep a catalog all along. I just have never made it public.
Okay,
But this will
great.
be a way to make it public. So this is a great one, though. And we did discuss it, I'd say, 5 years ago, and it's certainly worth everybody recognizing. Greetings, DLS and Chaz. I've had this thought on a kook and curran for some time, and recent Stab article prompted me to send it your way. Kook and curran, carrying your board under your arm with the wax facing in. Now, I would never, ever be caught dead with a board under my arm with the wax facing in. My brain just couldn't process doing something so seemingly unnatural. I don't care if I had a dark colored board and I'm not walking back up to the point on, and I'm walking back up to the point on a sunny day. It is not happening. I'll just put the board under my other arm to protect it from the sun. Recently, I had seen photos of legends like Brendan Margison carrying their board in such a manner, and then Kelly Slater standing at the glass in a WSL interview with board facing in. And for good measure, see the attached photo of Tom Curran doing the same. So, photo of Tom running up the beach at Rincon. The only other people that I see carrying their boards like this are generally people with fresh rentals headed down for their first surf, or adult learners with a recently purchased wetsuit, half on but pulled way too low, sandals still on as they walk through the lot, and new board under their arm, wax facing in. So again, kook or curran, I think he means kook and curran, carrying your board under your arm with the wax facing in. Thanks, gents. Keep work, Dave.
Totally submitted, correct. The thing is, I was thinking as I was listening there of, I feel some kook and currents now are like this one right here, right? Is so early kind of surf common sense of you don't want to wax up your side, right? And so you flip it, right? And da 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 da, like, and then you think, oh, obviously, this is obvious that you carry your board wax side out. It's kooky to carry it wax side in. It shows that you are unfamiliar or you surf so little that you've never had wax in your side. Think, oh, where did that come from? And then, oh, duh, like, you know, whatever. However, and every one of the intermediates comes to determine that that's not a good idea. I was thinking though, like, you know, fashion, music, art, literature, anything, if somebody is so good at something, they love to flip the entire thing on the head, right? Like it's musicians who, you know, due to weird time music,
Yeah.
or it's, you know, poets who write in ways that, you know, great poets who write things that shouldn't be, you know the rules, break the rules kind of, where I feel on so many of the kooks and currents, some of these are, you are so advanced that you are straight breaking the rule on purpose just because you're current. Like, and current is the prime example of a dude, accidentally probably with him,
Yeah.
but there's others I feel that are full breaking the rule on purpose.
Curran's brain is wired in such a way that the opposite of what normally would feel right is true for him.
Yeah, that's his truth.
Yeah, exactly. So I would argue the reason why I don't carry the wax in on my board isn't necessarily to not wax my torso. It just feels better. Like there's
Yeah,
something about the curve of a surfboard, certainly on the rail in your hand, but then also with the rocker profile that you just, it facing away from you makes more sense than carrying something that is facing and, you know,
heading
locking
across your
you in
path.
basically.
Yeah.
It's just weird, right? So anyways, yes, this is absolutely a kook and curran. Only kooks do this and currans do this. Nobody in between. I've never seen an intermediate do this. So here is the list that we currently have canonized in our kook and currans. A GoPro on the nose of your surfboard. You
Boom.
got Nathan Florence or some guy posting his clips on Facebook. Rash guard over your wetsuit.
Boom.
Competitive surfers or surf school surfers. Booties with trunks. That's a rarer thing, but we addressed it and submitted it. I don't know if you remember this one, but wearing a puka shell necklace.
Julian Wilson, I mean, as current as they come, and or kid on vacation in Hawaii paddling out for the first time.
Never seen an intermediate surfer wear it.
Nope.
Um, Holding your board, wax towards your torso. That was an early submission. Front zip wetsuits.
Boom.
You either
Great.
have an incredible longboarder or somebody who doesn't know how to put on a back zip wetsuit who
Yep.
accidentally put it on frontwards. Bringing a ukulele on a surf trip.
Amazing. These are
That was
so
a good
good.
one.
I'm glad you wrote all these down.
It's
Yeah,
so true, though, right? You have
so true.
Donovan Frankenreiter, Jack Johnson,
Kelly Slater, for pity's sake.
Kelly Slater, Tom Curran, and anybody else falls into the kook category.
Yep. And no, if you consider yourself intermediate, but you did bring a ukulele on a surf trip, time to recategorize yourself. Sorry about it.
Hard look in the mirror,
Yep.
um, or reviewing the footage. Um, Gaff helmet.
Ooh, this one though, this one might have to step back out due to the fact of the unforeseen major spike in popularity of helmets now. I feel that there's probably some intermediates now in gas or in surf helmets.
We're gonna have to revisit this one. I think 5 years down the road because currently it still
Yeah,
exists as
currently it's
kook and
still there.
current.
If I see a dude, I've never seen a normal guy surfing with a. You're right. This is still. I see a day possibly where this is out, but as of today, it's still in.
It's vast majority currents. Like you
Yeah,
hardly ever see a kook with a helmet. But if you do see somebody with a helmet who
he's a
isn't
kook.
a current,
He's a kook.
very likely he's not an intermediate surfer.
Yeah.
Um, Having sponsor stickers on your boards.
Yep.
It's yeah, no intermediate surfer has. No traction on a thruster.
Yep.
Extreme stretching pre-surf.
Every time.
Uh, Disrespecting surfboards.
Yes.
Which is so solid. Like Chloe Andino punching it after a heat, or a newbie who just doesn't know and they
Doesn't
accidentally
have.
drop it in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Whitewash takeoffs.
Man, these are good.
Really good.
These are good.
Selling a barely used surfboard. You either bought it and then gave up, or you're a pro and you just sell them all the time. But an
These are really
intermediate
funny.
surfer never sells a barely used surfboard. Surfing in elastic waistband shorts. That was directly because Curran did it. Wearing trunks over your wetsuit, also because Curran did it. And then one of the most recent ones, one wave sessions.
Man, this list is, I mean, it's as close to perfection as we have ever achieved on this show.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it's really good.
It really sums up a ton.
It's
Um,
so much.
yeah. Okay. We got a couple of true grit or clickbait switch stories. Um, Surf journalist has heart sore, then crash after being teased with Kelly Slater's approval.
So I'm sure everyone saw Kelly Slater released yet another brand. So retirement, fake retirement, going well for Kelly Slater. We've got turtle shells. I mean, turtle moon sandals. We have K dot, whatever. Does he still have any of that junk? I looked,
What's
Perch is
K
still
dot?
around. Or what was Kelly's traction and leash company?
Oh, K grip.
K grip. Yeah, is that still around? I haven't
No,
seen K grip in the market for a while. Okay. So whatever. Everybody knows all Kelly's brands. Don't have to go into them all, but a new one, Freaks of Nature, David Lee Scales. Have you seen Freaks of Nature?
I saw two articles, your article and Stab's article, but I didn't click on either.
So Kelly Slater has apparently released a skincare line, Freaks of Nature, which is, as you would imagine, reef safe sunscreen, blah, 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 right?
Trying to retain his youth,
Trying to retain his
trying to
youth,
reverse his
satanically,
aging.
horribly, a bad idea. Bad idea, A, because Kelly loves to introduce things into the marketplace. Like Kelly's all about like not making waste and whatnot, ostensibly on the surface, right? So what he does is introduce things into the marketplace, like a new sunscreen, where we have Sunbum, man. We don't need this, Kelly. Sunbum makes a reef safe product that's best in class. Just go with Sunbum, right? In any case, though, Kelly wanted his own Freaks of Nature. So I had seen, I think somebody had emailed me the press release. I don't think I got the press release directly, but somebody emailed me. It was like, slow news day. I thought, oh, who cares? And just like basically reprinted the whole press release with a little note at the front that I don't think was necessarily positive about Kelly. For those who listen to the show, you can probably imagine what it was. I can't remember offhand, but it was something probably about him being undignified and a man lacking dignity. In any case, got an email from the PR team that said, "Thank you so much for posting about Freaks of Nature. The team and Kelly are thrilled." And so Kelly is thrilled about this. Kelly is thrilled that Freaks of Nature got onto Beach Grit with a little bit of a jibe before. So I had to respond directly. Are you sure Kelly is thrilled? And then the next day, got another email that says, yes, thank you. I don't think they said yes. I think they said, thank you so much. The whole team is thrilled, or something like that, where I think they were probably confused. Why is he asking? But but yeah, Kelly's on the team. Team's thrilled. Like, so yeah, but soaring and then crashing. I thought, ooh, Kelly really was touched by the piece, but I think he
Did
wasn't.
did they send you product?
Nope, I didn't ask.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
like those things like that, I don't want it. I literally don't want it. I do
Yeah.
not want freaks of nature sunscreen. I don't. Sorry.
Yeah. Fair enough. Um, well, the other story that I think deserves attention just so they can get a proper public shaming on this venue. Quote, Florida teens caught dumping trash into surf and grotesquely humping air turn themselves into authorities.
Man, I mean, this was a viral clip. Did you see it before I posted it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had seen it too. It's one of those ones like I am not generally 99.8% of the time, I'm not about internet mob justice, right? Like everybody on social media and everybody swinging in with opinions and with like death sentences. I was watching, what was it called? Uh, it was something, shoot, the wife was watching it. It was somebody who was basically rolling the guillotine out on social media, and it was something teen, like the social teen or the how to catch your name, but it was basically cutting people's heads off on social media. They were talking about whatever they were talking about, and then publicly executing people. Like this person has been guillotined. Like they had never
They were
read
they were using that as a metaphor.
as a metaphor of now nobody, should look at this person anymore. This person
Got it.
is finished. They have been, publicly murdered. Where I'm thinking, like, okay, did you guys never, ever, ever read about the whole reign of terror during the French Revolution? Like, where everyone turned on each other, and then so many people were getting their heads cut off that eventually, where there was nobody left to cut heads off. Like, how are you even remotely thinking this is a good idea? Which is ostensibly what all of this social media,
Yeah.
mob justice is, except for this case, the 0.2%, where it's actually like, yes, these punk ass kids dumping trash cans load of trash into the ocean, just being dicks. And it wasn't, if they were like in a shitty boat, and it was just like poor people being dumb and poor and lame and whatever, I would have had a more sympathy. But like in a $1 million, power boat, like just already sucking fuel and blowing fumes and dumping, I mean, the amount of privileged asshole behavior in that one clip was fully enough. And I hope these guys takes them a long, long time to live this one down. Like this is not a, punishment that should go on for more than like 5 years. But I hope that they have girls that they're super sweet on, like start to think, ooh, maybe they start to make out a little bit. And then the girl says, wait, you're that one of those dudes who just walks away, leaves them high and dry. I hope that happens like a lot because of this clip.
I really felt an amount of rage that made me question my own morality. Like I should not want this person's life to be ruined because of this one infraction, but I did want their lives to be ruined. And I think one of the first stories I saw, I don't know who published it, but somebody in the main comment at the top, might have been pinned to the top, was like listing the boat's owner. Like maybe they
Yeah.
ran the registration of the boat, listing the boat's owner and said, these are the businesses that he owns, boycott those businesses, contact him, get a hold of him, all that kind of stuff. So basically doxing him. And I was like, I was glad to see that, which like you, I normally wouldn't be. I'm normally like,
Yeah, like, come
you
on.
know, doxing just isn't cool. But it was so egregious. There was something about that clip that it was, you can't just educate these people that dumping in the ocean is bad. There is something at their core that is fundamentally wrong for them to even be in this position, to be thinking this way, to be doing this, you
I
know?
mean, that's the thing. It's no these kids, 16-year-olds, I think they were, everyone knows better. Everyone, I mean, those kids knew better. And so they are rotten kids. They are you, and you just you know everything from the boat they were riding on or the boat they were cruising out, like their demeanor, the whole thing. They are spoiled, rotten people. And what do you do with spoiled, rotten people, right? And hopefully, I don't think they're gonna like. I read one of the dads was like, "Oh, their kids is a teaching moment," right? I'm thinking, nope. Ship has sailed, no pun intended, on teaching moments. Like you are clearly a crappy parent who raised crappy kids, and I don't know how you sort that out at 16, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, these are the people who go on and just cause like leave a wake of trash again,
Yeah.
no pun intended, in their lives. Which, yeah, shame on you boys. And I hope that, literally, I hope that you guys, not death, not jail, not anything like that, but I hope you guys have a really rotten 5 years.
Yeah,
That's
me
what you
too.
get.
Well, good news they turned themselves in, which I have a feeling they only did because they were probably outed and
Oh
identified
yeah,
anyways. So,
yeah.
but two, I would call those both true grit stories then.
It's true. Kelly's especially heart soared and then crashed.
True grit, two in a row from beachgrit.com. Okay. In the interest of getting quality time in with our families on a Friday night, we are going to go to commercial break and then come back with Barrel or Not. Rocketmoney.com/surf. Just this week, my wife figured out she was paying a subscription for Showtime, but then also paying for Paramount Plus, which includes Showtime for free. That's precisely what Rocket Money was designed for. A modern tool that meticulously tracks the details that we easily get distracted from. It's a finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your monthly spending, and helps you lower your bills. It gives you freedom by helping you see your subscriptions in a simple dashboard and alerts you about hidden fees or increases. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/surf. Calm the clutter in your head, simplify the tedium of your financial life, and find freedom through rocketmoney.com/surf. Chaz, welcome back.
So good to be here.
Okay, barrel or nah. Winking as a greeting.
Such a barrel. Talk about this. See, okay. This ties the show up with a nice, neat bow. You know who can't wink as a greeting? Kelly. Not Seth Rogen can wink as a greeting, but Joe Rogan can't. Shane Dorian can't either. They would look like creeps. If you're a dignified man aging well, then a little wink is nice. Like if you got a wink from Paul Newman, I would feel like $1,000,000. It wouldn't be creepy. It wouldn't be lecherous. If Joe Rogan winked at you, it would be straight lecherous.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of buying into what you're saying because initially my buddy pitched it to me as winking at a male, like I think he said winking at a male friend, like two males winking at each other, basically. And I was like, that's a nah barrel, of course. And then I thought, well, even if a male winks at a female, that is lecherous too. That's also a nah. So I was going all the way nah. But you're right. Certain males could probably get away with this.
That's a dignified man. You could age in. Like you can't do it as a younger man. I think it's like it's like too many minds in the field for that. But once you get, I'm gonna say 50 on, if you are a dapper gent and you give a good nature wink to either your male friend or a female that's not lascivious, like you just have a good day. Think like you have to practice it, I would think. It'd have to be natural. It couldn't be like a yeah, things that
I,
look awkward.
I'm going to work on it. I kind of
Yeah.
like the idea of making the wink my own.
Yeah,
Like,
you totally
because it
can.
really communicates a ton. If you wink at somebody, they have questions.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it can mean a lot but in everything, like it's either, hey, I know that you know that we're in on this little thing together,
Right.
right? It could mean like, I have a secret that you don't know. I mean, it can mean a lot of different things.
It could mean,
Each one of them is intriguing.
yeah, all of it is. It's
Yeah.
they are now engaged in some sort of nonverbal communication and they have a bunch of questions. And they're just like, does he like the shirt that I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Does he know me from somewhere? Do we know each other? Like, what's going on here?
That's what I'm saying. But unless you are an HGH dude, if you're Kelly and Wink somebody at somebody, then you think, oh man, this HGH dude is just leching on me. Like
If
that's
you're
the
if
only
you're
thing.
if your head is larger than it was 5 years ago. Um, so have you, I'm now curious, role reversal. What if a woman winked at you?
I mean, I would love it, right? Especially
I think
if,
I would too, no
I mean,
matter what.
no matter what, if a woman, because it's either, oh man, like I put my best foot forward today, or you would think this little minx here is playing a social game at a higher level than I am. I better raise up right now.
I would go to sleep that night still thinking about it.
So it's a full, I'm going full barrel Wink, caveat, HGH.
So full barrel, but it's going to be, you're going to run the risk of potentially being a creep. So you really need to, know how to use that wink.
You've got to make sure you're not. You have to take, like, if you're gonna employ the wink, you got to take a long, hard look in the mirror, an honest look, and say, if I winked at somebody, would they think I was creeping on them? Because you do, like, I mean, part of the thing, speaking of Seth Rogen, did you hear his whole joke about the rap war?
No.
Was really, really great. And for the interest of time, I will just point people there. Just go read Seth Rogen talking about Kendrick Lamar and Drake. But basically, at the end, I'll tell you the punchline. The whole thing is funny, and knowing the punchline doesn't ruin it. It was, if you're Drake and you walk into a club and everyone's dancing to the banger hit that's #1 on iTunes right now of you being a pedophile, you would really you would think you went wrong somewhere, right? And and so, but I think that's the thing. If you wink at like a 15-year-old girl, say, and they think anything at all other than like this old guy's got like personality on him or something like that, then maybe work on it still, right? You can never let your wink get out of control.
Yeah, I'm going to say don't wink at a 15-year-old girl, period.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's probably, which is, yeah, Drake probably shouldn't have texted Millie Bobby Brown, period, also. So yeah, that one's maybe an outlier. But if anyone, if your wink has a 10% possibility of being perceived as lechy, let
Yeah.
it go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really behind on that beef. I had no idea that he was a pedophile or that he
Oh,
texted
really?
texted Millie Bobby Brown. What did the text say?
Oh man, I mean, it's the best, and it's kind of cold now, but the rat that was I was on that thing like I mean, it was Shakespearean at its height, right? Like the lyrics back, there's so many double entendres and depth. It's like Shakespeare levels of writing. I mean, as a writer, I was fascinated, purely as a writer, I was
Yeah.
fascinated in the beat. But yeah, Drake texted Millie Bobby Brown at some point when she was like 13, I think, and or DM'd her, which is worse, right? And DM'd her like, and then Millie Bobby Brown was on like the red carpet. It's when at like 15 or something. It's Drake, we're great. I love him. He's such a role model. We're such good friends. We text all the time. We tell each other we love each other. Thinking it's a friggin' 40-year-old man and a
Wow.
13 to 15-year-old girl. That's like there's no way that plays. There's zero way that plays well of like cool. Like, oh yeah, he's just a nice guy to a 13-year-old girl. It's like, nope.
Wow. Yeah. I knew that beef was happening, but I did not pay attention to
It's worth
what
going
was
back.
being said.
It's worth going all the way back through, reading everything, listening to all the songs all the way through. It's not time wasted.
So they're releasing songs like in real time, like each week they release a new song about it.
I mean, it went
Like,
so quick. So Drake released his Hammer, right? And Kendrick Lamar waited like 10 days or something, and then released two in a row. It was one, and then a couple hours later released the other one, and they were hammers. It was like, I mean, yeah, the Kendrick calling Drake a pedophile, like I mean, a whole rap about Drake being a pedophile. And then like Kendrick Lamar's fans went onto Google Maps and re-tagged uh Drake's house in Toronto. He has like a big mansion as Kendrick's house, and then put a bunch of pedophile or sexual predator stamps on it on Google Maps. And then yeah, I mean it was
wow.
yeah, and Drake came back, and then Kendrick, I think hit him one more time. Yeah, where Kendrick's last one to Drake, I think it was the last one, was called Meet the Grams. I think there was another one after that, but it was legit a rap directed at Drake's son, who says, "I'm sorry, your father is garbage. When you're 18, come to me." But a whole thing of, and then rapping directly to Drake's son, directly to Drake's baby mama, directly to Drake's dad, directly to Drake's mom, rapping to them all saying, "I'm sorry, you dad, you raised a piece of garbage. Son, come to me when you need a real man in your life," etc. Where I don't know how you come back from that, to be honest.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep, big time.
All right. Well, barrel or nah, listening to audiobooks versus reading, or I guess instead of reading.
So I'm a generally have been historically enough, having read two audiobooks into the audio machine made me probably even more of a no, but time and place, and I am just about to embark on a whatever 2,000 mile journey back home, and I'm thinking I'm gonna grab an audiobook this time.
Yeah. My thought on this is it's barrel, not instead of books. Like there's certain books that I feel like I want to read, but
Yep.
there's other styles of books that I don't mind listening to, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm
So
excited. Do you have any because I am collecting what I need a book.
suggestions.
Suggestions, yeah.
First of all, did you take the weekend van?
No,
This would have been your opportunity to put some miles on that thing.
problem is I have to drive the daughter's car back. That's why. So
Oh,
I drove it out here last year, I do believe. No, it was a couple years ago, I think. And now it is returning.
so are they making you drive solo?
Oh yeah, of course. Everybody's flying back. I am driving solo. I mean, it's that drive is one of those both torturous, but it's like not something you want to wish upon somebody else. But also, if you got to do it, so much better to do it alone, where you can listen to what you want to listen to, you can stop where you want to stop, right?
Yeah.
Like having to do that thing in tandem with other people chiming in,
Yeah.
be like, I'd way rather get in and sort it out.
To be honest, it's a secret pleasure of mine is long road trips by
Sure, mine
myself
too. Mine too.
because it's like I never get that much time alone. I don't mind driving at all, and I
Yeah.
like listening to things. I like, being alone with my thoughts too. I just in a given day don't get the opportunity.
When I drove the car out here, I would go for hours upon hours upon hours with no music, no podcast, nothing on, just like quiet, just
Yeah.
sitting there quietly driving.
So when do you start the drive?
I will see. Well, we almost missed the PSA for our dear listeners. Dear listeners, this is usually David's department, but Mother's Day is Sunday. Did you have a PSA?
It's the final barrel or not, in fact.
Okay, so I blew it. But
No, deliver it. Deliver it.
well, I mean, so I was going to, ideally, I was like, I'll wake up, family's leaving Monday, flying Monday. So I was thinking, I wake up early, first thing Sunday. I get to Eric Logan's Oklahoma City. Monday, I'm in Albuquerque. So I'm home Tuesday. They're home Monday night. Like, that's all great. But yeah, then realized late that yeah, so I'll probably have to end up leaving like after Mother's Day brunch-ish, like so midday Sunday, which is a rotten time to get on the road.
Gotcha. Okay. That leads us to the final barrel or not. I'm going to keep it vague. I was going to ask you a specific, like, you know, gifting related question, whether it be like gifting your wife a gift with no monetary value, making something for her, something about gifting for your mom instead of your wife. But I don't know. Let's just go vague, general gifting advice. What are you giving to your wife this year? What do you give to your mom? What are your thoughts?
Mom, usually I send flowers to mom. And this year I just got so behind the gun that I will not, but I think I'll write her an email.
Bad advice. Whatever Chaz says, do the opposite. Handwritten card is the bare minimum, dude.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. This is why I look forward to these shows before important holidays for our significant others because you help me. So yes, I will get my mother a card, uh, and write it, and then mail it from my
Take a photo of it and email it to her.
yeah. And then I was gonna do some writing for the wife too this year. I got her I've gotten good gifts in the past. I feel strong about my Mother's Day gifting. But this year with being in Ash, it got thrown off. And so but I have something in my head that I've been meaning to write
Okay.
to her. And so that's a real thoughtful piece of writing.
Well, you can read it to us next week as a
Great.
follow-up to this.
Great.
That was my original barrel or not was going to be more around that. Like, is it barrel or not a gift your wife something with zero monetary value? Because my thought is leaning that yes, it is, and that in fact, gifting her something of monetary value is actually
Easier.
no, it's worse. It's way worse. It's like
Yeah.
a gift is new, or let's say no gift is neutral. A non-monetary value gift is actually a good contribution. Giving her something that's worth money is actually below neutral to me, where it's like, I didn't really put any thought into this. I needed somebody else to really do this for me. So I put some money into something and I'm giving you something. I feel okay giving gifts at birthdays, Christmas, but for Mother's Day specifically, I feel like it needs to be handmade.
I mean, yeah, you usually, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm all about, I don't like if the gift is thoughtless, uh, either purchase or homemade. If it was like a slapdash thing that you heard, you sat down and you wrote like a funny poem or something, right? Or you went and bought her something that you didn't spend any time or energy thinking about. You just, oh, I got to get some. And then I'll put the monetary gift above the homemade gift. But when it comes to because the thoughtfulness that has to go into a homemade thing has to be like hours and hours and real like if you're
Yeah,
gonna do that, if you're going that route, it's got to be good. I mean, it's got to be have real heart in it.
it does. And the effort behind coming up with the idea is where the heart lies. Like, this is the intention, but then the effort of actually doing the thing, the hours that you spend painting the painting or writing the poem or whatever it is, also generates those feelings as well. You know
Oh,
what I mean? Just the act of doing it makes you feel more connected and loving towards the person.
I
So
mean, I was
I'm all
thinking
for
that,
the exercise.
and particularly about in this one, it's not just a birthday. It's not I love you because you're awesome, right? This is a specific, and I mean, I am so like in awe of the way my wife mothers, right?
Right.
Like, and so it is something for me even to pause in my own life and really appreciate the way she has raised our daughters is, I think, yeah, I mean, it's valuable for the relationship. It's valuable for me. It's just that pause to really consider how, unless your wife is a crap mother, then you could take her out to Chili's. If she's a crap mother, leave the kids at home and go get the baby back ribs. But if she is in fact a good mother, like that, it's hard to be a good mom.
Totally. The hardest thing in the world. Um, the other thought that I had in preparation for the day is I put too much effort into our relationship throughout the rest of the year. I cook dinner for her all the time. I write hand notes periodically, give her chocolate all the time, bring flowers home periodically. So now I can't do any of that stuff because it's just normal behavior.
No,
I need
I
to
know.
lower the bar for the rest of
Yes.
the year.
So, I mean, the beauty is, I feel that if you keep the bar that high forever, what happens is she's not happy either, right? Like it's that just becomes the normal, like normal good. Normal good is normal good. Even if normal good is flowers and chocolates and handwritten notes and this, that's still just normal good. That's baseline. Baseline is baseline no matter what. You got to do her a favor by lowering that baseline. And
Yeah,
so then you can make her happy again with little spikes.
exactly. So I think that's my mission for 2020, the rest of 2024 in preparation for 2025 Mother's Day.
Slowly lower that bar.
We're switching to grilled cheese and hot dogs for dinner
Yep. Periodically.
over the course of time. Okay, good. Well, hey, great advice here as always.
Yep.
Well, thanks for taking time out of graduation day as if you weren't exhausted enough already.
Thank you for coming on. I mean, this iron for coming on with a head freshly drilled.
So Chad and I were texting throughout the day, just like, okay, the doctor's appointment's at, or the dentist appointment's at 1, but I might be done quick. I don't know if they're actually going to do a procedure today. Maybe they'll need to schedule it. I got done out of that chair, shot him a text. I'm like, let's do this, man.
I really love it too. I feel like because it would have been so easy for you to say, no, absolutely not. Like this is not the day. The thought of missing one of these shows is almost incomprehensible to
I
me.
know.
Like if you told me, okay, I did this, but my window is 2 a.m. your time, I'd be like, okay, that stinks. I got to find a quiet place at 2 a.m. I would not think of no, I really can't. Let's just wait till next week. Like the wait till next week for the show has only, I feel, only been, especially for the last year, of like absolute disaster emergency.
Totally. And so on Shaz's side, um, when I told him like, hey, I gotta do this root canal, like I don't think I'm gonna be able to record this afternoon. He offered the weekend. And I'm like, well, it's Mother's Day weekend. I have things both days. We have so many mothers in our lives, you know? And so I'm like, Monday I can do it. And Chaz goes, I'm going to be driving across the country on Monday, but I will pull over any time of day and record from there with you.
That would have
So
been the thought of that, the thought of like stopping a road trip and like a 2 hour in the rest stop, just recording a podcast and then getting back on the road. I was not looking forward to that. So thank you for making it happen today.
this worked out, and our mothers will thank us and wives for not cutting into their weekend time. So, all
Every
right. Thank you, listeners. Beachgrit.com. Thank you, drinkag1.com/surf. Vayer watches, weekend vans, always. And anything else?
That's it. And happy Mother's Day to our one mother who listens, and but more importantly, to the mothers who accidentally have to listen, who where it's on in the car and you are banging your head against the passenger seat window or the driver's seat window. Hopefully not. Hopefully you married a real man and you're banging your head against the passenger seat window. But shout out to you.
Hopefully, you married a man who doesn't refer to you as partner. Until next week.
Keep work.